I'm about to buy shares of a Nigerian company with 20,000 naira, but I will not be doing it like the investor that I am. I will be doing it like a trader, because that's actually what some of you are. You buy a stock today and a few days later you want to sell. Some of you start to panic, and that's not what investors would usually do. You hold for a very long time. It could be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and upwards. Some of you buy a stock now and you want to sell the next day. That's not bad, but you're doing it the wrong way. And I want to quickly show you how to trade Nigerian stocks if you're really looking to do this on a weekly basis. Let's get started. Now, before you can trade or buy stocks, you have to ask yourself, do I have money in my wallet? So you need to check your NGN wallet, make sure that the money is there. If you don't have money in your wallet, or it's your first time, click on deposit to deposit money into your wallet, pretty much. So if you have money in your wallet, next thing you want to ask yourself is the Nigerian stock market open? So if it says open here, it means the market is open. By now you should have already decided what particular Nigerian stock you want to trade, right? You go to that stock. In my case, the stock I want to trade is MTN. So I'm going to click on MTNN, and of course the next thing you want to ask yourself is the stock liquid? Illiquid stocks are basically stocks that are not easy to buy or sell in the market. If you check the order book, you won't see a lot of buyers and sellers on the stock. MTN is liquid. How do I know that? There is this indicator here that shows you, and that's also why I'm using Bamboo for this video. Bamboo shows you if a stock is liquid or, of course, illiquid. So the liquidity of this stock is 4 out of 5, which is very good. So the next thing we want to do is go and check the order book, see what people are buying at, see what people are selling at. The market price for MTN currently, as you can see here, is 805 naira. When you go to the order book, you see there are some people who want to sell for 793, 793, 793.50. Like a lot of sellers, a lot of buyers who are also looking to step in as well. You can see what the buyers are setting here. Now, you do not buy Nigerian stocks at market price. This thing is 805. Why will you pay 805 for one share of MTN when somebody is selling for 793, or a group of people? Because these are basically multiple units, 20,000 units. There are so many people selling for 793, so why should you pay 805? So this brings me to my next advice. You never click on buy here and then buy now. No, you do not do that. You do not buy Nigerian stocks at market price. You want to go to the order book, find the cheapest you can find in the order book, and place the order. That is if you want to buy the stock right now. That is, again, if you want to buy the stock right now, go to the order book, find the cheapest and buy it. But we don't want to buy it right now. For the sake of this tutorial, we are actually going to trade it. And because we want to trade it, there are some things we need to look out for. So let me show you those things. First of all, you click on this 3M, which is 3 months. The chart will show you the performance of the stock in the last 3 months. As you can see here, first of all, we had a pullback here. The pullback was, let me click on this and drag. The pullback was 763, around this region basically. This is region. In trading, we call it zone or a level. So this zone, there was a time it pulled back to 763, and there was a time it also pulled back heavily to 720. So as a trader, what you want to do is ask yourself, what are these zones, right? These zones are what we call support. Your support is basically a region where a stock has repeatedly stopped falling and bounced back up. So in this region, it stopped falling at some point and bounced back up, and it went up again. So this is the first place that happened. The second place it happened was around 720. So this region, it's a region because it's not just a number, it's an entire region, this whole area like this. So that is the second region. Now the next thing you want to ask yourself is, what is my resistance? Your resistance is basically a ceiling, in a sense. It's a place where the stock has gotten to on the higher level and pulled back. So if you look at this closely, you'll see in recent times MTN has gotten around 850, 840, and kept pulling back. So that's your resistance. That region is the resistance. And as you can see here, it happened again recently. It got to 850 something and then started pulling back again. So because it's pulling back, what we're looking at is the likelihood of it pulling back from this 805 to your first support, which is 763. So in trading, traders look for these support zones where, because it's not breaking resistance, it will likely pull back. Let me expand this to 1 year. So we got this 763. That's why I say this thing is a region. You see, there are multiple numbers around 745, 736, so it has gotten to this level before and bounced up, and then you see it also got to around this level again, 740 something, 720 something, and bounced back up again. So because we know these things, there's a likelihood that the next region that this stock might fall to is actually around 763, and of course it will likely bounce up again. So we want to ignore the other book and everything and set our first trade at 763. How do you even do that? But you go ahead and click on buy, click on limit buy, and then 763. Before you set a trade, look at what it says here. It says the price movement on NGX cannot exceed plus or minus 10% of previous close price. So currently it's 805, therefore you can only enter a price between 724 and 885, and that's really fine with me. What we're looking for is 763. It's within that range. So I'll click on proceed. How many shares do I want to buy? I have 20k. If I'm buying 763 per share, 763 should give me around 25 shares for 20,000 naira. So I'll say 25 shares of MTN for 20,000 naira. Review, and then see the calculation here, and then I'll place my order. What we will do is the order will be placed. If the stock ever pulls back to 763, boom, my order is going to be executed. That is how you trade. You look at the chart. Traders look at the chart to see where the support and resistance is before they proceed. So that's it. So we've pretty much gone ahead to place an order for MTN, and it's 25 shares. It's going to be pending here for quite some time until it's executed. That's pretty much how it works. And if the order cancels or something happens, I can still come back and repeat the process. So you want to do that for different stocks. If I want to do the same for Zenith here, Zenith just came to mind. I don't know why, but let's go to Zenith. Yes, it came to mind because it's also a liquid stock. We go to the other book, see what people are buying and selling for. This is pretty liquid. And then we check the chart, zoom out by 3 months. See, there was a time you put back to 105. So this is an entire region, this region, because we had that around here as well. So these are all a region. But let me zoom out to 1 year. Okay, so this is a better view. So this was 110. We got 110 around here as well. This is basically a region in a sense. It's currently 122. There's a likelihood that this stock might pull back to 110 region soon. So especially if it's been falling lately, and you look at the other book, you see what people are buying and selling for and all of that. So there's a likelihood that it will fall to 110, and you might think it's impossible, but it's actually very possible. So you want to get in really cheap as a trader and ride that bounce up. That's how you trade Nigerian stocks. When is it going to pull back to that level? Nobody knows the when. It could be today, it could be next week, it could even be next month. What you do is you set your trade and you wait for it to get to that level. And of course, whenever you decide to sell, you sell higher, right? Imagine buying this at 110 when your order finally executes. That is if it gets to that level. If something happens and maybe the market keeps pulling back, it will likely get to this 110 support region and then bounce up back. When it bounces up, you make money and then you can sell higher. That's how you trade Nigerian stocks. I'll see you in the next video.